Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today you'll be cooking with me as I make efor riro and pounded yam. I got all this ingredient from the African market not so close to where I live. I got this vegetable. I already had the stockfish at home. I have my turkey, my meat intestine, and my peppers. I washed my intestine. I don't know what it is called actually. And then I put it in the pot alongside my stockfish. And then I add my Maggi knorr cube. And I added a tablespoon of salt, and then I let it boil in its juice just so that it releases sweetness, and then it takes in also the sweetness of the seasoning that I'm putting inside. So I'm just going to let it boil by itself in its own juice before adding water. Then I go ahead to boil my chicken. Oh, turkey, I mean, because I also was craving turkey. And so I'm just going to add only the Maggi cube and salt to boil my turkey. Normally, I use rosemary and all those other stuff, but because it's going into the vegetable and the vegetable is usually locally made with its own seasoning, I just thought that it wouldn't make sense to boil my turkey with rosemary because I don't want to taste rosemary in my vegetable. And then I slice onion. I like to use onion, especially the red onion, to boil my meat or my chicken or my turkey because it's usually very flavorful and it gives it a very local taste, if you know what I mean. I really don't know how to explain it, but I don't like to use the brown onion. I prefer to use the red color onion because it gives me that local flavor, and this is what I grew up using. And since this is also a delicacy that I grew up eating, I wanted to make it exactly the way I used to make it when I was in Nigeria, the way my mom taught me to make this recipe. Now people have different style of making it. If you cannot find the vegetable, you can use spinach and you can use kale, but I just, my mind didn't go there. I just saw the vegetable and I'm like, yes, I remember. So I let my turkey boil in its own juice and my meat boil in its own juice before I go ahead to prepare the rest of my ingredients. So I've cut my vegetable into large chunks off camera and I'll be rinsing it in my basin because it is a lot bigger than any bowl I have in my house, and I want to make sure that I get every sand out of this vegetable. I use hot water first and then I follow up with cold water. A lot of people like to blanch this vegetable, but my mom taught me that if you do that to your vegetable, you've already washed away all the nutrients that came with the vegetable. So I try not to do that, but you can also do that if you like. Then in my pot, I add palm oil first and make sure that it is hot. Then I go ahead to add my onion and then I add my iru. Do not skip iru in this recipe. Iru is very essential in eforiru. What is eforiru without iru? After adding my iru, I go ahead to stir it and then let it fry for a bit, and then I add my pepper mix. Usually for this pepper mix, people only use the long pepper, which is the cayenne pepper, and the chili pepper. But I went ahead to add red bell pepper because I already had this in the house and I didn't want to waste it. But you can absolutely skip the red pepper. In fact, you shouldn't use yellow bell pepper to cook this recipe at all. And then I go ahead to add my, what do they call this stuff? Crayfish. I added my crayfish. I like to blend my crayfish because I don't like when I can see the crayfish in my eforio. It's just a personal preference. You can add it as it is, but I like to blend mine before adding it into my mix. And then I go ahead to add one Maggi knorr and a very small teaspoon of salt. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm still going to add my meat broth to this mix, and my meat broth is already seasoned, like you can see. So I don't want to use too much in this. I don't want to add too much salt into this mix. This voiceover, I'm finding it difficult. Just please manage it like that. After the pepper mix has fried a little bit, I go ahead to add my meat into this. I don't like to fry my meat as well. Like I said, personal preference. A lot of people like to fry their meat. That's absolutely fine. it would still come out very sweet, but I try to reduce eating fried things. And I didn't grow up frying my meat, so I just naturally don't use fried meat for any food I cook. And then once the meat has boiled properly, I add my vegetable. Now, the cooking time of this efor is usually very fast, especially if you've prepared your ingredients before you start cooking. The entire cooking process, I don't think it should take over 30 minutes to cook everything. It's just a very fast process. You just keep adding everything. And so I'm just covering my vegetable so that it shrinks a little bit, and then it allows me to stir properly. I like to use the one that we call shoko, or is this tete? The green that is usually hard, that is crunchy. That's one I like to use. I don't like to use the one that just becomes very soft when you start cooking it. I'm sure every Nigerian girlie watching this would understand, but I don't know how to explain the name in English. I don't know what they are called or what the vegetable is called in English. I don't know why I'm rumbling. I'm finding it hard to do this voiceover today, but I hope that the video is self-explanatory in case. And if you feel like I'm talking too much, just kindly mute my voice and just follow the recipe. And voila, the vegetable is ready. Like I said, the process is simple. I'm just adding my turkey. After I boiled my turkey, I went to air fry it, and I'm just adding it to my vegetable because I was particularly craving turkey this day, and I wanted to incorporate it into my efor. Now, I'm supposed to use a lot of fish for this recipe, but I couldn't get fish. So the stock fish just, complemented for, the other dried fish that I couldn't get, because normally there's supposed to be like a catfish, the dried catfish in this soup, but it's not there. But you won't really notice it because the stockfish made up for that, you know what I mean. So, off camera, I cut my yam into small bits, and I'll be boiling it. And the reason why I cut my yam into small bits is because I'll be using the potato masher to mash my yam to make it into a pounded yam. I saw this style somewhere, and that's why I'm trying it. So I'm just checking on my yam to see if it is soft enough for me to begin to mash, and I'm also checking the soup. Now, after straining a little bit of water out of the yam, I go ahead to use my potato masher to just mash the yam until everything is mashed. Just the way you do your mashed potato, I mash it very well until I see that all the yam is mashed, and then I take my tonigari. I don't know what this is called, spatula, tonigari, omorogun, I don't know what it's called, and then I just turn it together like so. As you can see, I keep doing it until it is smooth, and if it needs more water, I keep adding more water as I go until it is smooth. Honestly, guys, I did not believe that I can make pounded yam with potato masher and my omorogun. I did not believe it until I did it, and it was so good. Just look at the outcome. That's it, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all the good stuff. And let me know if you'll be trying this method, especially the method of pounding yam. No more poundo yam. This method is so easy. See you guys.